那个看到没？绿色的。
旅客朋友，列车运行前方就要到达。
Today, high-speed trains run through the country at 300 kilometers per hour. But in Jiayang, Sichuan province, there is one small steam train that is content to run at less than 20. Knowing the heritage of industrial culture is essential for my new course. I decide to start with this little steam train in Jiayang. The author of this photo book is Yuan Chengfang, the first person I'm going to meet in Jiayang. Yuan Chengfang works at the Jiayang Steam Train Administrative Center. He loves photography and is a walking encyclopedia of Jiayang. This railway connects to the mines, a place where people gather and where train stations are located.
然后我们就坐火车沿着这个铁路到华这个工业古镇去看一下。这里边有很多的故事，是吧？你看我这个地方有老的照片。这我知道，这叫天轮，上来把煤从井下提上来。你看八沟镇铁路工人演出的场景我们过去还有川剧团。这是你看这一期都是运煤的船，运到马面河上船运到重庆。
The sky in Jiayang always gets a little gray in winter. Good weather like this is rather rare. At 7:30 a.m., we get on the train at Yuejin Station and head to the terminal station, Baogou.
开门大吉。
欢迎大家来到江阳收罗湖旅游景区旅游观光，乘坐江阳小火车。您现在乘坐的江阳小火车是全世界唯一每天还在正常客运的蒸汽燃煤载轨小火车。我们这条铁路叫做80铁路，全长19.84公里，修建于1958年，全程依山而建，基本无架桥，所以呢就产生了109个弯道。
我们这个小火车就是专门为运输煤炭的，但是这个过去那里面没有公路，所有的职工家属、村民都要坐着这个小火车回家，家里是唯一的一个交通，对吧？
蜜蜂岩是中国铁道博物馆的一个露天的机车博物馆，也是四川嘉阳小火车科普体验基地。那因为它地形非常的狭窄，火车在这里是不能够正常的转弯的，所以呢，我们的设计者就采用了詹天佑先生的人字形掉头。这边的露天的机车博物馆，大家都可以去看一下。
刚才我们坐的火车车厢是最后一节现在它掉头以后，我们就是第一节了，是吧？我们就是前面了。根据这个哨音的长短，火车司机就知道它的这个距离，然后就人工连扣了。
拿了看看是不是啊？看可以吧？
机在里头，这个是。
The height difference on this 9.8-kilometer-long railway between Yuejin Bridge and the ancestral hall of the Zhao family is 217 meters. It's like the train runs along a mountain ridge.
这个车经常在这是不是要出点小毛病啊？是的，这里因为这里的坡度比较大啊，它是36°50的坡度啊，所以在这里经常出现小毛病。这个油管它压力过大，它这个有摩擦之后它倒了一点，然后给你爆开。
阿爸说，
就踩这儿啊？啊，对。
I've traveled on trains for so many years, but I still didn't know how a steam train worked. The train conductor invites me on to have a look. It's an eye-opening experience.
这可是这个火车头了，到了吗？师傅，到了。啊，它操作这个杆是什么？操作什么呢？跟机器人啊。
There's a big curve at Liangshui Tuo. When the weather is good, the steam train puts on a rainbow show here.
哎，走那边看彩虹啊！彩虹在那个地方是最佳位置。
哦，那个角。
哎，中午的时候就在这个位置，到了下午就那个位置，
是那个位置
啊。所以从早晨到晚上，它这个彩虹的角度是会变化的，一天都能看到。
彩虹在天上看到没有？哦，那个地方还有。
Like the steam locomotives of the last century, this steam train is operated manually, and each carriage is independent. A round trip uses more than 1 ton of coal. Over 10,000 soldiers and civilians worked day and night for a year to build the Bagou Shishi Railway. They dug 5 tunnels and built 1 bridge along the route. At first, it was only for transporting coal from the mountains, but the construction of highways at the beginning of this century meant that trains were gradually replaced by cargo trucks, and the steam train was used for passenger transport and sightseeing.
下面有一个清朝的小煤矿，啊，在古代的时候，这个地方就有很多的煤矿，然后后来嘉阳煤矿就进来了，就开采煤矿了。
We arrive at Bagou Station. The steam train stops for a while here, and the remaining heat in the furnace can be used for another purpose.
好，谢谢哦，谢谢哦。
这个猪脚、猪头，它的这个毛很多，当地居民呢都要烤一下。烤的时候就把毛烤掉了，还有这个皮，就给它烤脆了，烤出来的味道更香一些啊。
Yuan Chengfang tells me that to learn more about the Jiayang Steam Train, I should go to the former site of the Jiayang Mineshaft. After saying goodbye to him, I head to the shaft. Built in 1939, it was the first mine shaft of the Jiayang coal mine. The calorific value of the coal from the shaft can reach 7,000 kcal, which makes it suitable for steel making. This made the shaft very famous during the War of Resistance against Japanese aggression. Now the Jiayang shaft no longer has any exploitation value, but has been preserved so that tourists can visit it and experience coal digging for themselves.
哎，赵师傅，
你好，
哎，你好，来体验一下咱们这块挖煤的。
The coal seam in Jiayang is extremely thin, with a cross-section of about 50 centimeters, and the working plane is low. Miners back then had to kneel in the tunnels to dig coal with pickaxes.
实践一下。
右手带在前面，然后靠在右腿的内侧，然后抓着呀，抓住平脚，这次平脚要定准。 千万不能抓住，抓住这把子呀敲到自己胸部，还有挖表了要挖到自己的脚。对。
This kind of pickaxe is known as the Jiayang pickaxe. In order to fit the narrow working plane, it is only half the size of a normal coal digging pickaxe.
把两边窄断头，然后根据爱情的压力自然滑落。所以说这个煤炭是很好挖的，就是一个普通工人一天在井下要挖5吨左右的煤炭。我跟你示范几个，把槽一套挖实了，然后煤炭就很好挖了。
这已经把那槽已经出来了。让我试试怎么挖这槽。你先看我这动作怎么样？是不是应该这样的？是这样吧？
哎，不是的，你的定准没有带好。
你看我这打不准这地方。好了。哎呀，哎呦，这个地方可能就是那个煤从那个沟沟里出来，装上车就运走了，运出去了。但是现在这已经废了。
People say this is a special train carriage.
这车是非常有意义。我们的矿工，遭到不幸的时候，就把尸体通过放进去，通过铁路把它拉到外头火化。这个车的意义就在这儿。
This 4-meter-long carriage was called Carriage Zero by the miners. Every time the steam train ran on the Bago-Shirshi Railway with its whistle sounding, people in Jiayang knew another worker had left them forever. The Zhongfu Coal Mine Company was a Sino-UK joint venture in Jiaozuo, Henan Province. After Japan launched its full-scale invasion of China, it moved its equipment by waterway through the Three Gorges to Sichuan and established the Jiayang Coal Mine in 1938. It was the first joint venture coal mine in Sichuan. About 30 kilometers northwest of the county town of Qianwei, between cliffs that are over 100 meters in height, is a long and narrow valley that goes from east to west. Bago is located at the bottom of this valley. In the late 1930s, the rise of the coal industry brought many people to Bago, and the town was soon flooded with merchants. In the late 1980s, as the coal resources at Jiayang Mineshaft became depleted, miners and their families living in Bago moved away, and the prosperous hub soon became a quiet town again. These rows of British-style houses sit silently in a corner of Bago.
那上面是一个天井，一个是潮气，或者是做饭，或者是烧煤什么的，都从这儿能排出去。这还是带着那个栓的，你看，关门嘣，都是中国的榫卯结构，真是挺好，挺有意思的。
Opposite the grand stage is a tea house. The elderly people who stayed behind often come here to drink tea, play cards, and chat. Xie Xiaochuan is 92 years old. Before coming to Jiayang to be a miner, he worked as a boat tracker. He has 8 children. Back then, he handled 2 coal carts by himself so that he could earn one more portion of health-giving cake for his family.
过去几下吃保健，那个保健啦，都是里头包的是猪油、白糖，适量一个，一上一班8小时都有个保健，干2班就有2个保健。我们有时间干30几个班。
哇，是不是这个嘛？是不是这个保健？
这个不是4两一个，这是2两一个。你尝尝。
这杏子黄的少，杏子，
里边有核桃。 方便面是吧？您还知道这儿有个矿山博物馆吗？您带我去看看去。
可以啊，拜拜。
六二，妻子呢？你是老七。
我老爸。
老八。
Chen Xiaorong's daughter, Chen Hua, is a guide at the National Mine Park Museum in Bagou Town.
哎，这幅画不错。
这个画，它就是我们上世纪70年代在黄村井工作了5年的才湄公画出来的。恢复高考，他就去参加高考，考上了大学，后来成了成都西华大学美术学院的教授杨建国先生。
This oil painting by Yang Jianguo is called Miners. It shows a working scene in the old coal mines from early times. Jiayang coal mine has 3 shafts. Shaft 1 and 2 are already depleted. Now, only shaft 3, the Tianxi shaft, is still in operation. But there are only enough coal reserves for 10 years at most. After that, only the ruins of the mines will be left in Jiayang. Unlike the old shafts, the mining in the new shaft has already been mechanized. I've been given permission to go down to the working plane. There are several branch tunnels under the shaft, leading to different working planes. The nearest is about 3 kilometers away and takes more than 40 minutes to reach on foot.
哇，这是承重带啊！对，这是现在用的这种皮带传送带啊。以前呢，就用人工把煤或者吹点，人在后面吹，然后有人带着那个拉把煤给运出去，非常很辛苦，非常非常的辛苦。这就是做一面。你看嘛，这上面就是叫做野夫式支架啊，它上面不会叫颜色啊，煤团啊，叫了爬上人的啊。
This is the first time I've ever been down a mine. Although it's mechanized, the difficulty of the work still leaves a deep impression. On the 1st, 4th, and 7th day of each month, villagers go to the big market in Xie Xiaochuan town to do their shopping. On most days, there aren't many people taking the steam train, but on market days, the carriages are packed. There are no fixed times for stops at each station. There are 8 stations on the entire journey. The ticket for a single stop is 1 yuan and 5 yuan for the whole trip. It takes over an hour to complete this journey of less than 20 kilometers. Jianwei County has a history of 1,400 years. Xie is an ancient town under the jurisdiction of Jianwei. It is located on the west bank of the Minjiang River, northwest of the county town. It used to be an important freight dock. Back then, miners often came to Xie Xiaochuan town to buy food because it was cheaper here.
问一下，这码头在哪儿啊？你是看这哪个码头？货运运煤的，运煤那不底下嘛？就在这下边是吧？哦，你干过火车没嘛？江阳的。哦，你干过没有？没得。你干哈嘛？看一下。你看，对，这可能是在给吃饭。
The local people's deepest impression of this steam train is its constant clang, which has been with them for 60 years. In the old days, the coal from the mountains was transported by the train to Xie Xiaochuan town, and then to different regions by waterway. This shed was used as a warehouse for coal back then. Next to it is the maintenance section of the steam train's terminal, Xie Xiaochuan Station. The Bagou-Xie Xiaochuan Railway and the maintenance section were built in the same year and have remained unchanged for 60 years. Yuan Yuehua is an old worker at the maintenance section. Today, there are still 6 steam locomotives serving the Jiayang Steam Train. The oldest among them has been working for 50 years. This may be the oldest maintenance workshop in China. Everything can be handled here, from tightening screws to assembling locomotives.
我们就现在讲，就是给我们的中学生和中职技术学生，首先了解这个动力支撑就得从蒸汽机开始。这蒸汽机，你看，这不是分级阀吗？啊，对吧？这是活塞嘛，对吧？而且这是双缸的，而且能发电。你看这一动能发电，很有意思。所以我今年就是拜您来师傅了。您这儿就是现在做这些东西就是活化石啊，都是我的课程。我带着学生要到您这儿来游学，到您这儿来实践，完了以后呢，要设计一些我们这些方案。
The maintenance section and the workshop may look old, but the people here still have a deep sentimental attachment to this bygone era. Many of the people at Jiayang coal mine know about Yang Jianguo and his series of paintings, Miners. Before I end this trip, I decide to pay him a visit.
欢迎你，我杨建国啊，您贵姓？
我姓谢
啊，谢老师。
Yang Jianguo created a 64.8-meter-long oil painting and named it Miners. Many of the more than 120 figures in it are based on real people.
这几幅画我这个都是工友。这个像我们那个赵金泰，力气很大，很火爆，到处都是风风火火的。这是安全，一个班组里面有个安全员，年龄比较大，非常有经验的。这个原型就是魏师傅，非常负责，他就在工作面到处看嘛。这个呢，就像我们有个工友叫廖冠儿，长得瘦高的，挖煤非常厉害。 啊，这就本人呐、本人打这个光脊梁，开始不好意思的，后来过了起码几个月我才光脊梁了。这人就是我师傅，哎，我师傅那时候40多岁，他从前是拉船的，后来家人改制，就煤炭从那里出去，改成火车了，后来他们就来当矿工，我是他第3个徒弟，感情很深的。 我们刚下井的时候，他是一步一步的，每一步都盯着，就怕我们出事，脾气很可爱的。小小的事，我都怕够了，他都以为没什么事的，他要大哭大闹，啊，有时快你走，有要出好大的事，经常把吓得太负责了。走的时候，你看师傅他送了我这钢笔，他一个人工作养几个小孩，爱人是农民，也很穷的，花几块钱给我这钢笔。 我用了好多年。
The magnificent power of steam trains opened a brand new chapter of industrial revolution in human history. After 50 years, steam trains continue to bring coal from the mountains in Qianwei to the outside world on the Baogou-Shixi Railway. Memories of the steam trains and the mines are deeply engraved in local people's minds. They are also memories of an entire industrial era.